Batman is not a superpowered or divine being like Superman or Wonder Woman, but an ordinary human being. However, he is a human hero who fights crime with an indomitable spirit that pushes him to the limit, and high-tech gadgets that sometimes leave him scared and frustrated by his failures. Batman had a childhood trauma involving bats. He overcame this to become the bat-like protector of Gotham City's underworld, and despite his own darkness, he leads the people of Gotham City to the light. As one of the loneliest heroes in Marvel and DC Comics, he is often the object of sympathy for the audience. There are two different interpretations of Batman, directed by two different master directors with different styles, and played by two different actors. Today we'll analyze their interpretations of Batman. Part 1. Size comparison. If the Batman of The Dark Knight was slim, the Batman of Batman v Superman has a towering physique. The actors who have played Batman in the past have had a similar body type, but Ben Affleck's Batman is much bigger, especially when compared to Christian Bale's Batman, who has a slimmer build. If you compare the fight scenes, Ben Affleck's Batman is as strong as a bear, while Christian Bale's Batman is fast and sharp with the movements of a panther. The reason for Batman's bulk is actually due to the setting of his confrontation with Superman. Superman is a godlike being, and Henry Cavill, who plays the new Superman in Man of Steel, has a perfectly muscular body that is awe-inspiring. The same goes for Ben Affleck in Batman v Superman. Ben Affleck had to put on 9 kilograms of muscle for the role. In an interview about Batman v Superman, Ben Affleck said, "I put on about 20 pounds of muscle to play Batman, according to People. At my age, it's hard to get bigger," he was quoted as saying. This is because Batman, who is a human, is supposed to take on Superman. And if he is smaller than Superman, it would be too unrealistic for the audience. On the other hand, in the Dark Knight trilogy, the villains he faces are all human, so Christian Bale's similar body type makes it more realistic for the audience. If Ben Affleck had starred in the Dark Knight trilogy and beat up the bad guys, we might have felt sympathy for the villain. Part 2. Age comparison. The difference between Ben Affleck's Batman and Christian Bale's Batman is that Affleck's Batman is older and more jaded. This is a very important setting for the Batman v Superman universe. While Christian Bale's Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy was 30-year-old Batman fighting villains and protecting Gotham City, Ben Affleck's Batman in Batman v Superman is a Batman in his mid-30s who is tired of fighting. Ben Affleck's Batman is a Batman with over 20 years of experience, starting at the age of 23. He's physically and mentally exhausted from years of repeated combat, but he's a seasoned crime fighter, and he's bigger and stronger than any other Batman we've ever seen on screen. His personality is darker and more violent than the Batman of The Dark Knight, with a cold and brutal side that will stop at nothing to achieve his goals, and his mind has been sharpened by 20 years of vigilant work that has taken a toll on him, physically and psychologically, with constant nightmares and visions. This was confirmed in an interview with Ben Affleck, who played Batman, speaking at the Batman v Superman Asia event in Beijing, China. Affleck described the difference between his character and Christian Bale as more seasoned but aged. It's a Batman who's more experienced, more seasoned in his crime fighting, but he's got a lot more anger, a lot more hatred for the villains that keep coming up, he said of his character. This explains the biggest reason why Batman fights Superman. In Batman v Superman, Batman characterizes Superman as the villain of the future and fights an epic duel to eliminate him. Batman is tired and full of anger, which allows him to blindly believe that Superman will be the villain. Part 3. Equipment comparison. Batman is a mere mortal, not a superhero with superpowers. So he's used to fighting villains with state-of-the-art weaponry. Batman's most recognizable vehicle, the Batmobile, is also state-of-the-art. However, compared to the Batman of Batman v Superman, the Batman of the Dark Knight series is old school. This is due to the circumstances of Batman's fight with Superman. In order to take on a Superman who can fly and use superpowers, Batman has to equip himself with a more elaborate arsenal of weapons than ever before. Since Christopher Nolan, the director of the trilogy, sought extreme realism with minimal CGI effects, While Zack Snyder's style is to create spectacular visuals, the appearance of cutting-edge equipment in Batman v Superman is a result of the director's ability to create more powerful weapons that make Batman look more powerful. Of course, the fight scenes are also more dynamic. As with Zack Snyder's previous film, 300. In the case of the trilogy's Batman, the villains are humans like Batman, so the weapons are optimized for tracking and apprehending humans, so it can be said that he specializes in hand-to-hand combat. If Ben Affleck's Batman, who is trying to protect the Earth beyond Gotham, were to use his weapons against the villains of Gotham, Gotham City itself might disappear. So far, we've analyzed two Batmans directed by two great directors. As with the Joker, each Batman has his own appeal, and your choice will depend on your own preferences. Who is the real Batman? My choice of Batman is